Michael, Tim mentioned it. Manchester United interested in as well. How interested?
One of a number of options. We know Manchester United want another midfielder, but it's a longish list. Richard Rios from Palmeiras, Burnley's Sander Berge, who you know very well, Real Sociedad's Martin Zubimendi, and Fiorentina's Sofyan Amrabat, of course, who had a loan spell at Manchester United last season. Didn't go particularly well, really, in the end. Few injury problems. Did pretty well, though, in the FA Cup final. But the interest in PSG's Manuel Ugarte, which we've talked about all summer so far, not at the moment with those prices quoted.
Berger's an interesting one, isn't he? Because he came in at Sheffield United. He was a big money signing for them, did really well in his first season, has gone on to Burnley. But if he was to sign for Manchester United, he's very, very close friends with Erling Haaland. So that will be interesting across the city. They are big mates. But yeah, a player that's certainly got a lot of potential and maybe a little bit of untapped potential as well if he was to play for a bigger club.
Right, Tim, I've got another name to throw into the Manchester United midfield mix. Youssouf Fofana of France. What about this one?
Yeah, Manchester United have held initial talks with Monaco over the signing. They're exploring the conditions of a deal for the player. He's a midfielder who went to the World Cup with France. He was part of their squad. He was part of the French squad at the Euros as well. So again, he's got good pedigree. United are looking at a number of options. We've already mentioned another one of those tonight. But yeah, he's into the final year of his contract at Monaco. Again, he looks a good age and he looks to have the kind of profile that Manchester United are targeting in this transfer window.
Of course, strikers can take benefit from him because he was such a great striker. He scored so many goals. He carried so much success. So yeah, definitely he will help the strikers in different areas. But it definitely on the mental side, in bring over his desire to win games and by scoring goals. I have a strong belief in the person, I have a strong belief in his skills to help our team scoring goals, but also to help our team working as a team. And that means we attacking with 11. So it's the one in the end who finished, but he is part of 11 players. And so we will also act as we have to defend. We have to defend with 11 players, and the front players are the first defenders. We are here at United to win. And I said it 2 years ago when I entered this club, and when we had to note that United didn't won for 6 years, one trophy. Now we get 2 trophies. That means we are in the right direction, but yeah, we are highly motivated, highly ambitious to get higher targets. But we know also that takes time, and we have to invest. We did invest it the last years. We are on the point, but now yeah, we have to go forward. But very important is to have the squad fit. Then we can progress, then we can work on the training ground to improve the team in all the head moments of football, and that will have their benefit in the games.
We will go to The Telegraph, who have this story about Manchester United saying they will vow to keep Old Trafford. So Manchester United do not plan to demolish Old Trafford if they build a new stadium. Their home ground since 1910 would probably be scaled down to a capacity of about 30,000 for use by the women's team and the academy. Charlie, what are your thoughts on this? Is this a good idea, would you say?
It sounds like a great idea, and I'm sure the majority of Manchester United fans will be pleased. I think equally, most of those supporters will accept the fact that Old Trafford, it's just not fit for purpose in terms of one of the biggest teams in the world. I think there's obviously a huge amount of land next door where they could build a new stadium. One option was to knock Old Trafford down and build it on that same spot, which didn't make any sense whatsoever. But by building the ground next door, but then keeping, some of the key parts of Old Trafford, some of the statues, and just reducing it down to 35,000. it's a really good idea. Will still cost a lot of money. I mean, the stadium next door could cost up to 2 billion, and reducing this ground from 76,000 down to 35,000 would not only cost a lot of money, but would take a very long time to make those changes. But I think it's the perfect solution, and I'm pretty sure United fans will agree to this news with delight. It sounds as though Ineos are getting the big decisions right.
Yeah, Martin, just an idea at this stage, though. But how likely is it? Do you think that this is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's quite a big risk attached to it. Obviously, I'm not a sort of surveyor, but if you look at the fact that, I mean, as Charlie did reference, the fact it's going to be time-consuming and expensive to reduce it by that, and what's it going to look like? And if you're just doing it because you want to try and you don't want to lose the historic parts of Old Trafford, I'm not sure that's a particularly good idea. I mean, look at White Hart Lane, look at Highbury. I don't think the fans of Arsenal and Tottenham are particularly upset the fact that those old stadiums no longer exist as they did before. So I think just to do that for the heritage factor, I think is a big risk. If they can make a sort of a business proposition that works, then it is a good idea. But I do think it's risky.
Yeah, Charlie just said, Martin, that this is an example of Ineos getting the big calls right. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that it's a question of wait and see. I think it's a very difficult one. The whole stadium thing is a very difficult one. Ineos have been initially talked about they wanted public funding to help them rebuild it, and they've had to sort of row back from that and just have it around the transport links for Old Trafford. So I think it's really difficult. I mean, Seb Kerr is the person I think who's in charge of the stadium project team. He's the guy who actually decided having an Olympic stadium without a football legacy plan. So, yeah, I think he's somebody who's made mistakes in the past. Let's hope he doesn't make another one.
Erik Ten Hag offers transfer update and predicts Mason Mount's impact at Manchester United. Mason Mount may have only featured 20 times for Manchester United, but after a promising pre-season, he could be set to start against Manchester City. Erik Ten Hag is confident that Mount is ready to make a significant impact after a challenging first season at Old Trafford. The 25-year-old joined United from Chelsea last year in a £60 million deal as he entered the final year of his contract. However, Mount's time at United has been hampered by injuries, limiting him to just one Premier League start in the last 10 months. With only 20 appearances and a single goal last season, he hasn't featured for England since the 2022 World Cup. Despite this, Mount was a regular starter in 4 of United's 5 pre-season friendlies, showing encouraging signs. Yet, he now faces competition from captain Bruno Fernandes for the playmaker role in Ten Hag's lineup. We know Mason is a high-class player, and he's only just beginning to show what he can do, Ten Hag stated when asked about Mount. Last season was tough for him, mainly due to injuries, but we're pleased with his strong pre-season. I'm confident that, if he stays fit, he'll start contributing to the team, but that applies to all players. Ten Hag remained cautious when discussing United's transfer activities as the summer window enters its final 3 weeks. United has already invested £95.41 million in forward Joshua Zirkzee and defender Lenny Yoro but has struggled to strengthen the central midfield. The club's transfer strategy hinges on several potential departures, with Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Victor Lindelof available for transfer. While Fulham has shown interest in Scott McTominay, United would also consider offers for Casemiro and Christian Eriksen. However, no bids have been made for the 32-year-old midfielders so far. When there's news, we'll announce it, Ten Hag emphasized, relying on one of his trademark phrases. You've seen the market, it's still relatively quiet. We've done business, we've made 2 signings. It's all about timing, the market, the options available, and making the right decisions at the right time. I won't go into specifics about where we are with recruitment. We know what we're doing, and we're in a strong position with the squad. Just be patient, when the time is right, we'll let you know. We've already made moves. As I mentioned, we have a squad with strong depth, with quality players in every position.